Well, good morning, good morning. We're gathering for coffee with Casper. Here's the Casper. Here's the Casper. Knock the microphone right off in the first paw. Down with the paw, down with the paw, down with the paw. Hi, hi, hi. Good morning, good morning. We're up on YouTube, I believe. And we're up on Facebook. Yay, good morning. Let me know where you are. We're checking in. We're going to gong ourselves in about a minute and a half. There's the Casper. I got my coffee. I got my Casper. Going to hang out with you. Yay. Let me know where you are. We'll check in. We're going to gong in. Good morning from Boise. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas, post-Christmas, post-Hanukkah. I think we're in. Hey, good morning from Arizona. All right. Nice to see you all this morning. Checking on in. There's the Casperator. He had a good Christmas with all kinds of family. Good morning from Boise, Dave. Nice to see you this morning. Hola. Aloha from Honolulu. Hi, and good morning. Good morning. Nice to see everybody. Well, here we go. We're getting ready to gong ourselves in. About 30 seconds or so. What do you think of that, Casper? Good morning from South Carolina. Happy holidays, indeed. Merry Christmas. Happy Boxer Day. Now we're past Hanukkah and we're into Kwanzaa. Good morning, good morning. Nice to see you. Good morning from Studio City. Hey, Paul, good to see you this morning. All right. All righty. Well, there it is. We're going to gong ourselves in. So you get down, big dog. Here we go. So good to see you. Feel the presence of all those other people who are connecting in the light. And we're going to take a big, deep breath in and let out the sound ah. Ah. We'll do that one more time. Big, deep breath in. Let out the sound ah. Ah. Then we relax the shoulders. Bring the energy into our heart center. And we're just giving ourselves permission to be here present. Good morning from Palm Desert, to be here present for the next 20 minutes. So I wanted to be, I'm not sure, I'm going to plan on being with you next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we leave for the Caribbean. My wife and I will be celebrating our 40th anniversary. But I believe I'll be doing the show in the morning. So we'll plan on keeping you posted. We'll get a poster out on Monday so you know, and you can share that poster with anybody. And good morning, just in time for the gong. All right, good morning from North Carolina. We got them all checking in. So one of the reasons I wanted to get together today, hey there from Texas. All right, nice to see you this morning. Is we're at the time of year where everybody starts to talk about New Year's. So, and New Year's is the time we make all these resolutions, right? And over time, you may have noticed in your own life that you resolve these certain things, and sometimes you make it a week, sometimes you make it 3. Of course, what we know is the health clubs all around the world get huge membership influx between January and March, and by March it's back down to the regular numbers. So really what I want to talk about is the difference between a resolution and intention. And the best way to describe intention, I believe, first of all, what we all know, I'm Harry Morgan Moses, you're watching Coffee with Casper. We're the gathering of light workers from all around the world, all around the United States and other parts of the world. And our intention is to connect and to remind ourselves some very basic principles that we have come to learn. And those basic principles that we have come to learn involve your conscious awareness, because we understand the law of the circle, or the law of mind, which responds to us by corresponding, as the philosopher Ernest Holmes says, receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. It's receiving that direct impress of the sum total of your consciousness, everything you've thought, said, felt, and believed. That creates your consciousness, and that is what is creating your experience. So what we know is the key, as we've talked about before, we'll probably bring it up again in the new year just as basic review, but it is spirit acting upon, the conscious mind acting upon the sea of life or the law of life or the subconscious mind. The spirit acting upon the subconscious mind creates experience. So the whole deal about evolving is becoming more and more conscious of what's happening in your own awareness. Become more and more conscious of the tone that is emanating from you. Because that unique tone that you are creating from your experience thus far, from the sum total from the time you came from the light all the way through and even before you came from the light, right? That sum total of that awareness is sending out the signal. And that signal is sending out, coming back to you as the multi-dimensional experience of your life. Everything from your sleeping states of consciousness to your waking states of consciousness to your good news, your good attitude days and your bad attitude days. All of those things are constantly creating your consciousness, and it can be made anew. Yesterday ended last night, and we can begin anew today. But what you and I are aware of is that through our conscious awareness, through putting our attention on what we mean, putting our attention on being, letting that heart light within us shine, letting it touch other people, letting that awareness, whether they're strangers to us or whether they're intimates to us, letting that awareness move from us out into our expression all of the time, and using what's happening in our experience as the feedback loop on how to adjust, right? So intention is that tone. It's the tone that you are vibrating out. What are you seeking to create? So you and I would say, well, I seek to be an avenue through which healing can happen, through which wholeness is revealed to myself and others. I seek to be an avenue through which the light of love is actually working in me and as me and through me, and I'm using that in my day-to-day activities, what we call chop wood to carry water, taking care of your house, taking care of your laundry, taking care of the shopping, taking care of the transportation, taking, all of the things that we have materially created that we have to tend to, right? When we make a demonstration, we have to take what goes with it, and that requires that we participate in the flow of that energy. So intention requires that we know what we're intending, yes? So this is why we talk about it's good to visualize the idea of your life fulfilled. A few minutes a day to just calm yourself, find that center, and imagine the goodness in your life. Just recall the memories of connection, the memories of love, the memories of belonging, the memories of joy. Many of us just had a Christmas celebration, and how much laughter and love and creativity and beauty was in the air, yeah? And then we had, if we were blessed to have a wonderful meal, we shared that wonderful meal, and that was another place of love and connection. So we can look even in our recent past to find where those moments of joy, where those moments of connecting, where those moments of love, where those moments of belonging, right? And then we connect into those. Good morning from Hollywood. Good to see you this morning, right? So the vibration that when we talk about intention, it's the sum total of things that I want. What is my intention around health? Some of us who've lived more than 6 decades or so recognize we set an intention about having a healthy, whole, and complete life, and not leaving here until we have done what is ours to do, right? So we want to pull on that pattern, to draw from that pattern of wholeness that we were born in the image and likeness of. We're born in the image and likeness of wholeness. So we'll draw that pattern into our body. How would we like to be in health? How would we like to be in terms of prosperity? When will we finally go, the source of my good is not my bank accounts, it's not my job, it's not my income. The source of my good is coming from source itself, and it's reflecting back through the law of the circle in all the ways and shapes and forms that it comes to me. And when I put my intention on having deep, deep faith in that law of circulation, in me, as me, through me, using the gifts of talents in me to express in the world, and then allowing my good to come back to me through sharing those gifts of talents. The talents then multiply. Yeah. So health and wealth and love, how do we want to be in our relationships? How do we want to be in connecting with our friends and our families and our beloveds, even those who are close and those who are not so close? We have people in the UK who participate with all the time. We have our wonderful Elizabeth in Norway who participates all the time. We've got people in Sri Lanka. So these are distant connections, but we are connected now in the light maybe through Coffee with Casper, but this is only one of the avenues through which we connect to all of the places where our purpose and our mission is touching the world, right? So we want to live in touch with that idea of I came from the light, working with my beloved Father, Mother, the creator of all things, the energy of life itself, source itself, working with source that I may more fully realize and birth that Christ presence, that Atman presence, that Buddha presence in my experience consciously by drawing it in, again, through our daily intentions and through our established intentions in health and wealth and love and the fulfillment of our purpose, right? And we begin to put those intentions out, and then we touch them in our morning prayers and meditations. We touch our intention to be an avenue that heals, uplifts, and inspires and brings forth more life. We want to do that for our kids and for our grandkids and all the generations and all of the variety of life that we come in contact with, that we begin to extend that love, that universal Rahma love, in a more profound way than we've ever done before. This is establishing intentions, again, that vibration that's coming out for me for the new year. And intentions are something that we create, we visualize, we dream on them, we put maybe right words around them, we sometimes create affirmative prayers around them, and then we release them and let them go. So intentions are something that we constantly hold, and we bring back our attention to that light. You know, if you have many of us now use our cell phones as flashlights. That has that little flashlight connection. And you recognize that in order to keep that light bright, you've got to keep that phone charged, right? So you and I are similar. In order for our light to continue to expand and to shine, we have to keep it charged. And keeping it charged is our daily spiritual practice. What we do, how we feel as we sense ourselves participating in nature, how we feel when we participate in the Kuba love, the personal love that's with our family and our children and our grandchildren, and the personal love that we feel in our long-time friendships and connections. And then that love, as we strengthen it in those long-time connections and belonging, then that light helps recharge our own light so we can shine it. Last night we had the wonderful opportunity to go visit a very successful friend of ours who had other successful friends. This buddy and I have been friends for 50 years, a little more. And then there were other friends that have been there for 55 years. I didn't know they were going to be in the room. And other friends that I'd known for 30 years that I hadn't seen for some time. And other people who knew about me or they knew about my wife and me because they've heard so much from the other friends. And so we were in this party of deep connection and belonging, and then they had our host had their children there, and then the other friend had another adult child with them, and just to see the generation sharing and this wave of love that's been connecting for all of these decades, and to see that it's still very much alive. Good morning from Colorado. Nice to see you this morning. Eureka, the Reverend Angelica Jane is with us and Maryland. Julia, nice to see you. The Reverend Julia is here as well. Oh my goodness, and we got Canada with us. Oh, it's so fun. I'm glad we're connecting into light this morning. So here's what we do. This is a good week as we're approaching the new year. Rather than to think about resolves, to just work with your intention. And the way that we work with our attention is we bring our attention to our intention. What are we intending to create? How are we intending to bring more light, more love, more joy, more wisdom to the world through ourselves, meaning we're allowing that joy to touch us deeply. We're allowing that love to touch us deeply. We're allowing that sense of appreciation to touch us deeply, to commingle in appreciation with the universe. So we're establishing these intentions that's going to be our tone that we're going to let that tone ring out in a new way, in a clearer way. If there's anything to resolve, which sounds so, I'm so resolved, I'm resolved to allow my attention to go into my intentions and to bring my attention and intention together in this new year in a greater way than it's ever happened before, right? Wow, that's the right direction. That's where we want to go. We want to hold our intentions softly, and just like recharging the phone, occasionally put it into the charger by remembering, oh yeah, it was my intention to do this, it's my intention to do that. I had an incredible demonstration of this just last night at the party. Our host's daughter is getting married in the summer, and I hadn't met the fiancé yet, and he was at the party. And we're chatting with the fiancé, and I discover he's an architect. And then I find out, well, what kind of architect? And, well, he's a creative architect. He does it for both commercial and personal, and he tries to work on environment. Well, you can see behind me here all this wood decking. It needs a lot of attention, and it needs more attention than just a repair job. We need to capture the vision of how this house can be for my wife and I who live here all the time, and for our children and grandchildren who visit and our friends who visit. How can we do this in a way that's creative? And so I put it out there, literally, consciously in my mind. I put it out there Thursday or Friday last week that, I guess I'm going to have to quit trying to do this by repair and do it by vision. So I'm going to need to find an architect. And now I'm sitting there talking at this party last night, and the young man that's going to marry my buddy's oldest child is an architect. He's a creative young man, and he could probably use the experience of working creatively with me on a vision. And will probably, of course, I'm willing to pay for it. You want to give back to that who are going to support you. But just as within 2 days of a clear intention about what I had to do next, my thought was, where am I going to meet this person? Who am I going to call? How am I going to find this person? And the law brought the person to me in this most loving, wonderful environment. Now, we'll see where it all goes, but just that instant fulfillment of, well, here's a direction to go. And I like Mike Dooley's work where he talks about it's always the vision followed by the baby steps. You don't need to worry about the hows. We stay out of the hows because the law of the circle, the law of mind, knows what to do and how to do it. That's where some of you know that song, I release and I let go, right? I release and I let go is just about that. I release the details so the divine mind will provide me the details. It will show me the way by means of the next baby step, the next step toward the fulfillment of my goal, dream, or desire, or intention, right? And the more we hold the consistency of the intention without the rigidity of it has to be a certain way or it needs to come out this way, we stay unattached to the way that it comes about or exactly how it looks when it comes about, but we keep attached to the fulfillment of the idea, the fulfillment of the intention in my heart around that idea. So all the joys of heaven and earth come to us the more and more we follow what our souls desire. We release what doesn't serve us, and we follow what does serve us. And the more we dwell on our intention, the more it becomes manifest in our life, and the more we learn how to adjust. One of the things I have noticed in my own world, and perhaps you have noticed, is the more in tune I am, the more sensitive my nervous system becomes. And when things become disharmonious, even in a very slight way, I'm very instantaneously sensitive to it. And my soul's desire is to live harmoniously in tune with my nature, which is the Christ, the Atman, the Buddha, the I am that I am, fulfilling itself full-orbed as the experience of my life, right? And this, of course, what I would claim for myself, I would claim for you. each one of us is seeking that we fulfill our intention and the potential of waking up to the magnificence of my spiritual reality, the I am that I am, that which is the Buddha awareness, the Jesus awareness, the Christ consciousness that can move in me and as me and through me. As we often say, Jesus is the great example, not the great exception. And I love this idea that he said to us some time ago, these things and more shall ye do. And I brought this up over on the platform for years. These things and more shall we do. And we look at the historic references to the things that he did, and we see them feeding the masses, walking on the water, calming the storm, raising the dead, causing the blind to see, the lame to walk. And he spoke like, well, that's normal. You just walk around and you heal and you uplift and you bring this forward in the world. And these things, because you are the I am that I am, and I am one with you, and you are one with me, and we are one with the one, then these things and more shall ye do. Okay, so let's pause a minute. Say, how many miracles are you working in your life? Or we could ask it another way. Have you noticed the miracles that are working in your life? And you notice that when something transcendent happens, something that's hard to explain in any other way than you establish the conscious intention and then witnessed it come into your experience, right? That's the easy way. And we don't make miracles happen. You're not willing miracles to happen. Miracles are the way of the Christ, the Atman, the Buddha, the I am consciousness, my true and eternal nature, my soul nature. So the more I participate in what my soul really desires, the more we set ourselves up for the possibility of miracles, the way miracles can unfold in our lives. I remember when thank God some time ago, my wife and I were struggling to hold on to our home and to make things work. And I had been contacted by a fellow who was an attorney who had been unkind to me, and so I wasn't not nurturing that relationship. And he contacted me and he said, do you know anybody who has a Volvo? And I said, yeah, we have a Volvo. He says, well, I'm working with suing them because they've screwed up for a lot of customers, and maybe you're one of those customers. And so I filled out some documents and I sent some records of repairs that we had done, and I sent them on to him. And several months later, completely forgetting about that document, here comes the mortgage payment due. I was really frightened and distraught, and I surrendered into the infinite. I went up and got mail, and there was a check from Volvo reimbursing me for replacing an engine, which was enough to cover the mortgage. Now, I never would have known how to make that happen. I didn't know it could happen. I had faith that somehow we would get through. But that's the way miracles work in our lives. If we're not paying attention, we would see it as an ordinary event. But the timing of that check arriving right in the midst of my fears, so that I might deepen my faith, that I might move back to gratitude, that I could use it as one more baby step toward relying on the infinite as my substance and the source of who I am, that the light that I am is the source and substance of all of my good. It is the gift of the Creator itself, both the masculine and feminine principle, the it itself that is energy, and that energy is moving through me and recreating its nature as me. Wow, wow, wow. And when we can remember that, we will get through the storms of our lives. We will get through the challenges. We will become the avenue through which healing and peace and harmony can come into the world in a new way. That's what being a light worker is all about. And I can't believe our 50 minutes is already, our 20 minutes is up. I'm going to keep going. I love being with you. I love sharing with you. Focus on your intentions. Let's keep them soft. Keep them in our heart. Keep refreshing them, recharging them, because who you are is something magnificent. There's no one in the world exactly like you who can bring your gifts and your talents into the transformation and transfiguring and the waking up of the world into a new day, a new time of peace, a new time of harmony, and a new humanity and a new earth. We are the light workers bringing that light. Who you are is something wonderful. And until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We'll be back next week. Casper, where'd you go? We'll be back next week with Coffee with Casper, and then we'll be on the way to celebrate our 40th anniversary, so we'll miss a week after that. But we'll be here next week, so tune in, tell your friends, share the video, and we'll see you then. Bye.